Hello, Pittsfield Public School families. I'm Jason McCandless, the superintendent of the Pittsfield Public Schools. Great schools, schools that consistently operate in student-centered ways that honor, respect, and powerfully educate all children, share several factors in common. According to renowned educator and educational researcher Larry Lazat, great schools come in countless variations: public, private, charter, affluent, economically disadvantaged, large, small, urban, suburban, and rural. But all high-performing schools share that their leadership and policy-making boards place emphasis, time, and finances toward several things: hiring and nurturing powerful instructional leaders, developing a clear and focused mission, creating a safe and orderly environment, setting a climate of high expectations, frequently monitoring student progress, fostering positive home and school relationships, and providing opportunities to learn and making sure that learning time is protected and treated as precious. The Pittsfield Public Schools is committed to these 7 correlates for effective schools, but right now we're struggling with one in particular: a safe and orderly environment. Here in Pittsfield, we will not stand for hate. We will not stand for bias. We will not stand for racism or racist speech. Hateful talk is the ground from which the spiteful seeds of violence grow. As we make our way through November, the school year is just a quarter old, and we have had nearly a dozen fights in our schools. Fights is not referring to arguments or even instances of being hands-on with another student. When I say fights, I don't mean arguments or just yelling. I mean fights. On a couple of occasions, even involving 4 or 5 students and requiring the direct physical intervention of our professional staff, faculty, and the Pittsfield Police Department. We want to be absolutely clear. This type of behavior is not acceptable in our homes. It is not acceptable in our community. It is certainly not acceptable in our schools. We will not tolerate talk of violence, hate speech, or that kind of verbalization, including cursing, that leads to fighting. A school is a public building. It's built and maintained at the expense of all of us. A school is a building where dozens of dedicated public servants come to work every day to serve children. Most importantly, it is a place where children are required by law to attend, to take part in the life-changing work of education. The work our students do during their K-12 education is foundational to a healthy, economically stable life. Their work is foundational to the health and well-being of our community, of our Commonwealth, and of our nation. Their work is far too important to have students involved in fighting or in having their own health and concentration disturbed by others fighting. Because the stakes are so high and the potential for injury so great, we are letting you know that we simply will not have fighting in our schools, school grounds, school buses, or on property that we or the city of Pittsfield control. We simply will not allow it, not in Pittsfield. Students who engage in fighting, behavior which will imminently lead to a fight, or who exacerbate or urge a fight to take place or to continue, will be suspended, moved into alternative programs, and if the situation calls for it, charged by the police for their actions. A fight allows the personal actions of a very few people to create a less secure working environment for every other student and adult in the school building. It allows the lack of personal control by a very few to ruin a school day for the many. Students who fight, who make threats, or make threats that include language which includes the use of weapons, will be dealt with as severely as we are legally allowed. We will continue to serve these students both educationally and in terms of mental health needs, but we cannot and will not have violence or talk of violence in our schools. We simply will not allow it, not in Pittsfield. If students fight in any of the Pittsfield public schools, particularly our upper-level schools, they will be suspended for up to 10 days. or if warranted, a long-term suspension of 45 or 60 days will be issued. During the suspension, we will provide work and tutoring if necessary. We will also require a family meeting that will include the creation of a restorative plan, a plan that helps the offending students make things right with each other and to help them make things right with the rest of the school community. The district may require an examination of alternative programming that does not take place in one of our 12 public school buildings. In cases that deserve it, we will involve the Pittsfield Police and file charges. Our student resource officers, sworn police officers hired by the Pittsfield Police Department, whose area of coverage is one of our schools, will react to violence in the same way they would were the fight in a movie theater, at a store, or in a neighborhood. The reaction will be professional and compassionate, but will likely result in charges. The Pittsfield Public Schools and the City of Pittsfield invest millions of dollars annually for people and services to help our students with the challenges they are facing in their lives. There is no reason why violence needs to ever be the answer, as violence in schools endangers not only those who are engaged in it, but endangers every child and staff member in the building. Violence destroys the sanctity and orderly operation of our schools, places set aside to help children and families become their best selves and reach their highest aspirations. I am asking for you to discuss the need for peace and order with your child, and I thank you for your help and your partnership in making our city and our schools safe places for all of us to live and grow together. I am available to discuss this or any other issue and can be reached at jmccandless@pittsfield.net or at 413-499-9512. On behalf of the Pittsfield Public Schools, I thank you for your time and dedication to helping all of our children reach their very fullest potential.